Hello everyone, happy Tuesday, happy September. It's time for another Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I am super excited to share with you today this awesome new bundle from the upcoming holiday catalog. So you may or may not be aware that this awesome holiday catalog goes live tomorrow, actually at 5 a.m. Eastern time. This will be available to order. So I thought today I would jump on and show you these really cute projects that I came up with using this fun bundle. Perfect for fall, perfect for back to school, just lots of fun projects. And I also have a new online class and I'm going to show you, but that's for later. For now, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about this bundle. So it includes a stamp set and coordinating punch. The stamp set includes images that can be used as apples and pumpkins, and then lots of fun sentiment. So this is great for beginners. Hello, Nancy. How are you? Hope you had a good long weekend. And so we have the stamp set and then of course the coordinating punch. So the punch punches out both the apple and pumpkin shapes. It punches out the apple slice. I'll show you how we're going to do that. As well as the leaf and the stem. So we're going to use this a lot today. So I'm going to show you 3 cute projects that I came up with using this bundle. I can't show you the bundle in the catalog yet because we're not allowed to show the inside of the catalog until tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to show you these cute little projects I came up with. So one of my favorite things to do, hi Debbie, how are you? One of my favorite things to do is, especially in the fall, I don't know why, I think back to school just kind of gets me in the mood for treat holders and those kinds of things. So I designed one card. Back to school card, teacher card. Hi Heather. Day 1 went well. Yes, I'm a little tired. It was a long day. If I start not making sense, it's because I have been talking for the last 6 hours. So if you find that my words aren't making sense during this video, you'll know why. First day of school is always a little bit of a shock to the system. So this cute little teacher card I designed to send with my son today for his teacher. And that's what I did on the inside. I'm going to show you how we're going to get that chalkboard look. This is a fun little little pouch that I designed to hold some spiced apple cider mix that is really fun. And then of course we need a Halloween treat holder. So I'm going to show you how to put all 3 of these together. We're going to start with the little pouch here and I will give you the how-to. So let me pull in all my goodies. I need this, I've got that, and I need this. Okay, so to start, I have my little cheat sheet, sticky notes there. I have a piece of, oh, you are moving, Debbie. Busy, busy, busy. So I have a piece of real red cardstock here. It is cut to 7.5 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, so 7.5 by 5 1/4. And I am going to go ahead and put this in with the long side at the top into my trimmer, and I'm going to score at 2 inches. And at 5 1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate, and with the short side at the top, I'm going to score, and I'm going to use this ruler on this side. Just whenever I have short little measurements like that, I like to use this one. I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay, so we've got 2, 5 1/2, and then 1/2 inch there. So we're going to set the trimmer out of the way. And we're going to do just a little bit of cutting. I have to think about what I'm doing here. We are, what am I doing? We are cutting this off. So this little section here. This is what happens. I designed this little pouch like beginning of August when I got my pre-order stuff. And it's easy to forget what you do. And then I'm also going to trim this piece off. All right, so we'll get rid of those. Okay, so the center panel still has its little bottom flap. The 2 side panels, I've trimmed the flap off the bottom. Hi, Deb, how are you? Thanks for the welcome back. It was nice to be up at the lake, but it sure made for a busy end to the week last week as I was in school getting ready for today, the big first day. All right, so here we have our flat pouch, okay? So I'm going to show you how it's going to fold, and then I'm going to flatten it out again to do some stamping on it. So what I'm going to do is fold all of my score lines, and this little guy at the bottom as well. Oh, one thing I did forget to do. This little bottom flap, I'm just going to trim the corners off at a bit of an angle. It's just going to tidy up the look of our flap when we assemble it. Okay, so the way this is going to work, I'm going to fold this one in and this one in. And what you're going to have here is a center seam, and then that bottom flap is going to fold, and that's going to create our little pouch. Okay. Hi, Wendy. How are things in Oz? Thank you for sharing. I missed you guys. I hope you missed me last week. It was very strange to not do a video last week. Okay, so I'm not going to glue this yet because we're going to do a little bit of stamping, and it's easier to stamp while it is lying flat. Okay, so to start, I have my little apple seeds image, and I also have my gingham paper. So this is actually from the new Toile Tidings DSP pack. This is also in the holiday catalog. And it has some awesome Toile patterns, but it also has this really great gingham. Oh, spring days in Oz. I miss spring. I'm not ready for winter. Fall is definitely here. It's definitely cooler. So this paper, I'm just going to kind of lay across this front panel. We're just going to be stamping on this front panel. See what I mean about talking too much today? And just to get an idea of where it's going to go, so I know where to put my little seeds. Okay, so I'm inking this up with just some black ink. I'm using the Memento, and I'm going to stamp my little seeds sort of halfway between the gingham and the edge. Okay, does that make sense? All right, now we're ready to go ahead and glue this together. So again, I'm going to take and put a little bit of Fast Fuse. Did I bring my Fast Fuse over? Yes, I did. Whew. Was worried there for a minute. I'm going to put a little bit of Fast Fuse on this shorter flap. Okay, right along the edge. You could use tear and tape as well. Okay, so that's going to go right along there. And then I'm also going to put a little bit on this bottom flap, and I'm going to fold that up. Okay, and then I just like to run my bone folder over to make sure my folds are nice and flat. Okay, then we have our piece of gingham paper. This is cut to 7.5 by 2. So 7.5 this way by 2 this way. Okay, it is a year for gingham and plaid. It absolutely is, Heather. So we're just going to glue this on. I didn't bother scoring it because it's quite easy to fold. So I'm just going to fold this around my little pocket here. Make sure that it's straight where they overlap. Okay. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the one edge and a little bit on the other edge. And we're just going to lay these over and fold them so they meet. Okay, so there's my little gingham strip. Now, to make my seeds black, I'm going to use my dark black. Oh, what did I do with my dark black? I grabbed the wrong marker. Ha! I grabbed my Stampin' Right. Hang on. There we go. I need my blends. I'm going to use my dark black blends. Okay, so all I'm doing is just quickly going ahead and coloring in my little apple seeds here. You probably could get away with using a Stampin' Right marker on these. The only thing with the Stampin' Right is you tend to see your brush strokes. Now these are pretty small little seeds, so you might get away with it. But I love me my blends, so I'm going to go ahead and use my blends. So we're just going to color these all in. I may not take the time to do the top row just now, just in the interest of time, so you don't have to sit and watch me color all these little seeds. There we go. Okay, so we're going to set this aside, and I'm going to show you what I did to decorate my pouch. So here I have a little mug that I stamped and die cut using the new Christmas cheer stamp set and coordinating cup of cheer dies. Okay, so this stamp set is awesome. It has several different images, great for coffee lover, tea lover, hot chocolate. Here I'm using for apple cider. So here I stamped it in Memento Black on vanilla cardstock, and that's because my background here is vanilla. Okay, I wanted them to coordinate. And to color this, I'm going to start with my light Real Red blends, and I'm going to lay down a layer of the light red. I'm going to do half the mug at a time. Okay, the reason for that is I don't want the ink to have time to dry fully in between laying down the light and the dark and then blending it out again. Okay, so that's why I'm only doing half at a time. So I've laid down a layer of light, then I'm going to come in with my dark, and I'm going to come up from the bottom. So I am really adding shadow here, right? So the bottom of the mug is going to be darker. It's going to be in shadow, as are the sides of the mug. And then I'm going to come back in with my light Real Red, and I'm going to start blending this out. Okay, and what I love about the Stampin' Blends is the way the ink just moves, and it makes getting that shading, that blending, so easy. It just blends so beautifully. So I'm going to color all the way up. Okay, so there's the bottom half. So then I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to continue with my light red, and I'm going to color the top half of the mug. You'll notice I'm using the brush tip. That is so that I can lay down a lot of color in a hurry. The bullet tip is great for really kind of digging in and really getting that ink to move when you're blending. But when it comes to laying down a lot of color and coloring a large area like this in a hurry, I like to use my brush tip. Now the brush tip is quite delicate, so you don't want to press too hard. Hi Carrie, how are you doing? Hope you had a good long weekend. So now I'm coming back in with my dark, okay, and I'm going to add my shadow along the edge and just a little bit of shadow along the top. It's not going to be too dark across the top there. Okay, and then again, I'm going to come back in and blend that out with my light. So I had an interesting conversation with a couple of girls on my team this weekend about whether or not it's necessary to put down that first layer of light ink when you're using the blends. And some people feel like that's not necessary. It's kind of overkill. I personally find I get better blending, and it's easier for me to move that dark ink if I put down that light layer first. Look at how beautifully that blended. Isn't it beautiful? I'm glad you had a good long weekend, Carrie. Okay, so now we're going to do our handle. So again, I'm going to continue around here with the light, coloring my handle. So this is, again, is my base layer of the light. Okay, and then I'm going to come back in with my dark. So my dark here is going to be dark along where it sort of connects to the mug. And then also sort of the inside curve at the top and the outside curve at the bottom. So then again, I'm going to come back in with my light, and I'm going to blend that out. Not doing a great job of staying in the lines here because I'm in a hurry, but you get the idea. Isn't that beautiful? I love the way these markers blend. Okay, now I also need to stamp an apple slice and a couple of leaves. Oh, where's my leaf stamp? It's in another kit. There it is. So I'm going to stamp my apple slice. This is just a scrap of very vanilla cardstock. So I'm going to stamp my apple slice in the Memento Black. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp a couple of leaves sort of along the edge, and that's just so that they're easy to reach. Oh, that wasn't great. Let's try that again. With the black as well. Okay. So for my apple slice, I am just going to need to color the skin on the apple, right? The outer part. So again, I'm going to come in with my light all the way around here. And then add some shadow with my dark. And then blend that out again with the light. Okay, super easy. The core of the apple, I'm going to color my seed black. And then the center of the core, I actually used a little bit of the light So Saffron just to sort of differentiate it a little bit from the rest of the apple. Okay, just like that. And then my leaf, I didn't worry about shading because it's such a teeny tiny little leaf. I just used the dark shaded spruce. Now the green that is in the DSP is actually garden green, but we do not have a garden green Stampin' Blends marker. So I use shaded spruce. The dark shaded spruce is pretty close. It's not quite exact, but it's pretty close. So I'll just color those. And then we are going to pop these out. So my punch, to cut the apple slice, I'm simply going to slide the image into my punch, and then I'm going to align it with that left side. So I'm just kind of looking to make sure I have an equal border all the way around. I'm going to pop that out and then take my snips and just cut off that half. And there's my little apple slice. Easy peasy, right? And then we have our two leaves. So we're going to pop them out. And again, when you're stamping these leaves, you want to stamp them right near the edge because the part that cuts it out on the punch is right at the top. So save yourself some paper. We will get all of these little bits out of the way and then we're going to assemble. Oh, except, hang on, I got to stamp my little tag. I almost forgot. That's why I had my black marker. Where did I put it? There it is. Because I need to ink my stamp. So this stamp, thanks Wendy. This stamp says give thanks. However, you'll notice on my little pouch, I just have the word thanks. So this is where your Stampin' Write markers are a godsend. So you've seen me cut stamps apart before, and I am not averse to doing that. However, I figured I would probably use this give thanks image quite a bit as it was. So rather than cut this apart, I just used the brush tip of my Stampin' Write marker. Now let me be clear, this is a Stampin' Write marker, not a Stampin' Blends marker. Okay, you cannot ink your stamps with Stampin' Blends markers. You will just end up staining them and you won't be able to stamp. Okay, so you have to use the water-based Stampin' Write markers. So I've just inked the word thanks, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp it on this little tag. I have no idea if that's even close to centered. No, it's not. So we're going to try that again. I should not try to talk and stamp at the same time when I am on camera and can't really see what I'm doing. You would think I would have learned that by now. Hey Sue, how you doing? All right, let's try that again. We're going to stamp that again and hopefully be a little bit more centered. That's better. Still not great, but it's better. Okay. So this little tag, by the way, is also in the die set that coordinates with the Christmas cheer dies, okay? So to assemble this, I'm going to take my little leaves and add a glue dot to the back of one. And we're just going to put one little leaf there. And then we'll pick up another glue dot. And that guy can go there. And then I have a little bow here that was pre-tied. I will give you your bow tying lesson a little bit later, but this guy I've already tied. So I'm just going to roll a little glue dot into a little ball there and take a dot there. Okay, and then that is going to get stuck just to the upper edge of my cup here. So we're going to put it right about there, just like that. Okay, and then my little apple slice is just going to sort of peek out from behind the mug. So we're going to add a little glue dot there just to tack that into place. Okay, and then that is going to get put on with dimensionals. But before we do, we are going to add a little bit of braided linen trim. This is one of my very favorite ribbons that we carry. It's super versatile, it goes with everything, and it just adds a nice little bit of rustic charm. So what I've done is I pressed the end of the trim into a glue dot. Hi Joanne, how are you? And I've just adhered it to the front of my pocket. And then I'm going to wrap it once, twice, okay, and cut it off my roll here. And then I'm going to adhere that end to the front as well. The reason I'm doing it on the front is so that I can hide the seam here with my mug, okay? So that when you turn the little pocket over, you don't see the seam. Okay, and then we're going to add a couple of dimensionals. Oh, you lost me, Wendy. Are you back? Am I back? I hope I'm back. I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of my mug and brand new sheet of minis. We're going to add just a couple to the leaves as well, just to make sure they stay put. And we'll get rid of our backings. And just pop this onto the front. Just like that. There we go. Isn't that cute? Now, I will take the time to color in the rest of those seeds, but you kind of get the idea. That's what we're going for, okay? And then these are just little pouches of spiced apple cider. I love hot apple cider, and having a mix makes it really quick and easy, okay? It just fits in there. If you wanted to cover the entire pouch, you would just add the extra width to your width measurement. My width was 5 1/4 inches. You just add whatever extra you needed to make your pouch a little bit taller. Okay, really cute. Great little, thinking of you gift, or little favor at a dinner, or a little teacher thank you, anything like that. Okay, so that is number 1 done and done. Moving on, we're gonna make a cute little teacher back to school card. Just got to get some stuff out of the way here. Move this and move this. I think I need my leaf for something else, so we'll keep that one out. And where did I put it? There it is. Okay, so we're gonna make this cute little chalkboard card. Okay, where did I get the apple cider? I got the apple cider on Amazon. I am a big fan of Amazon. So yeah, you can get them on Amazon. I think they were $1.50, the little pouches. So they're pretty cheap, at least in Canada, $1.50, amazon.ca. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you how to make this cute little card here. So I'm starting with a piece of basic black cardstock. It is cut to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay. So 5 1/4 by 4. And to get this chalkboard look, first of all, I'll stamp after. I'm going to take my Whisper White Crafting. This is an old school ink pad. Okay. Hey, Liz, how are you? But it still works, and it's the same ink, so why replace it if it still works? Good old Amazon for sure, Heather. So I'm going to take my ink pad, and I'm going to do something called direct to paper. So all I'm going to do, literally, and this is how I get the smudgy chalkboard look, is take my ink pad and rub, or drag, I guess, the ink pad along the edges of my cardstock. Okay, I'm just sort of swiping it around the edges like that. Okay, and you can add as much or as little as you want. I just wanted to have a little hint of white. I didn't want it to be too white there. Okay, the other thing that I need, and I forgot to bring it over, let me grab it, is my embossing buddy. Okay, this is my pathetic, sad little embossing buddy. I have several. This one is almost powderless, but it's great for this technique because I'm going to use more powder. I'm just going to take and sort of rub my embossing buddy all over the black. And you see the smudges that it leaves? If I just blow it off, it just leaves smudgies. It doesn't really all come off. So it looks like someone has wiped a chalkboard, right? Right, it does, because I'm pretty well versed in what those look like. Okay, so now I am going to take my 2 and A+ teacher stamp, and I am going to go ahead and ink that up with my white craft ink. So this is ink. Some of you may not be aware we sell this. This is in our catalog, the annual catalog, and this ink stamps opaquely on dark colored cardstock. Okay, so I can stamp in white on black cardstock and have it show up. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp. I've inked this up, and I'm going to stamp right about there. Just like that. Okay. So now I'm going to set this aside because this ink does take a little bit longer to set up, to dry. So I'm going to just set this aside for a minute, and we're going to work on our little apples here. So I will pull them out. Here I have 3 different colors of from the Brights DSP stack. So this is the 6x6 DSP. And I chose the pattern that has the cursive writing. I thought that was kind of fun for a teacher. At my son's school, they actually still teach cursive writing. So I thought that was kind of a fun thing to make my apples out of. So here I have, the apple image that has a piece of paper stuck under it. Let's just get that out of there. There, still there. There we go. And we're going to ink that in black ink. I just used Memento because I happen to have that out. And I'm going to stamp the apple once in each color. So if you are wanting to conserve paper, these strips that I cut are actually 2 inches wide. Okay. And that way you can get 3 strips out of a 6x6 sheet. Okay. And they fit in your punch quite nicely. What do I use to clean the stamp after using craft ink? My good old chamois. Okay, my really, really dirty, lousy looking chamois. This one's still wet. It is. Here we go. I'll show you. All you do, run it in there. This is still water-based ink, so this will rinse out just like any other ink. Okay, my chamois is stained, but it still cleans. Look at that. No black ink came off. Okay, and crystal clean. So just the chamois is all that is required for the craft ink. Okay. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to take and punch out my apples. So this color is Granny Apple Green. I thought that was suitable or appropriate, I guess, for apples. This is Daffodil Delight, but I thought it kind of looked like a Golden Delicious. And this is Poppy Parade. So we'll just pop these out. Okay. So there are my yummy apples. This side's kind of fun too for apples, but I like the cursive for teachers. Okay, next I'm going to punch some stems. So this is just a scrap of Early Espresso cardstock. And I'm just going to pop out 3 little stems here. I'm not taking the time to stamp the stem image. I'm just going to use the punched cardstock, which works just fine. And then I need to stamp, whoa, I just about cleared away my 3 stems that I punched. Let's keep those there. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp a few more leaves. So this is some scrap Pear Pizzazz cardstock. You could use really any green. I just didn't want to use the Granny apple because I wanted it to contrast a little bit with my Granny Smith apple. So I'm going to stamp 4 leaves here. And again, you want to stamp near the edge so that it's easy to reach with the punch. And then I'm going to line up my stamp and pop these out. So there's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 more. Come here. There we go. Okay, so we'll keep our leaves and get rid of all the other little bits here. There we go. Set the punch aside. Okay, now we can assemble our apples. So glue dots are your friend with these. So what I like to do is actually put a glue dot sort of right at the back, at the center of the apple. So it's right there. I think you can see that. And now here's a tip. When you are making apples, you want your stem to go this way. You want the wide part at the top. When you are making pumpkins, you want the narrow part at the top. Okay, so apple stem, pumpkin stem. Okay, can you remember that? I hope so. Okay, so let's put all of our stems on. So 1. Oh, and having said that, I just made a pumpkin stem on that apple. This is really why I should not do live videos on the first day of school after teaching all day. Oh well, let's see if we can fix it. We probably can. We'll just pull it off. Come on, work with me. Look at that. Gotta love glue dots that cooperate. There we go. Now it looks more like an apple. Okay, so then we're gonna take and add our leaves. So I like to kind of mix up where I put my leaves so that they don't all look uniform. This one I'm actually gonna stick to the front of my apple rather than the back. We'll put this one, we'll put it right there. And then on my yellow apple, my Golden Delicious, I'm gonna put 2 leaves. Just again, so that they don't look all matchy-matchy. So we'll overlap them like that. So there are my 3 apples, okay? Now I'm going to bring in my cardstock. It should be mostly dry at this point. And before I glue my apples on, I'm actually going to adhere my little chalkboard to my card base. So my card base here is cut to 5.5 by 8.5 inches. It's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So I'm going to fold in half along my score line. And then I'm going to add a little bit of fast fuse. And we're going to pop that on the front just like that. Okay, there's my chalkboard. And then when I adhered my apples, I glued the yellow one flat to the front. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll just use a little bit of Tombow here. You do not need a lot of glue for these little guys. So I'll kind of put one here. And then I kind of lined up the other ones. I did them a little bit, the ones that are piled on top, a little bit cockeyed. The one at the bottom has to be pretty straight. Otherwise the whole tower of apples looks a little wonky. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue the green apple to the red. So I'm going to add just a little titch of glue there. And we'll get that glued on. And then I'm going to pop them both up with some dimensionals. So I'll just grab a few dimensionals here. And get rid of our backings. There we go. And then we're going to pop this on. So you just want to make sure your bottom apple is straight, like it's sitting on the desk. Okay. And then our last step is to add a little bit more of that braided linen trim. So I'm going to give you your bow tying lesson. Are you ready? Hi, Julie. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Anne. So here I have some of that beautiful trim, and I'm holding it between my index and middle fingers. Okay. So I have, I don't know, probably about 10 inches of length. Okay. I like to work right from the roll. And then I'm going to pinch the trim between my thumb and index finger to make 2 loops. Now I'm taking care to make sure my loops stay flat. I don't want them to twist, okay? I'm going to bring my left loop over the right and then bring it around and through the hole and pull tight. And there's my Insta bow, okay? Really quick and easy bow. Bows are not hard. I say this every week, and I'm not sure you guys believe me. I'm going to trim off my excess, get rid of that. That's still a bit much. Get rid of a little bit more. And then one of the cool things about this twine is that you can distress it. So to do that, you just kind of pull it apart and suddenly it looks like almost like burlap, woven burlap. So if you just kind of pull and tease at them a little bit, you can do the same thing with the loops of the bow and just pull them apart a little bit. And then you get a whole different look. All right. And then we are going, thanks, Sandy. I'm glad you like it. Then we are going to press the knot of our bow into the glue dot. And we're just going to add a little bow to one of our apples. Now, this happened to me on my original. So you know what I did? It was not cooperating. So I thought, okay, if you're not going to stay where I want you, I'm going to stick you where I want you. There you go. And then it stayed. Okay. My last little touch, because you know me and my Wink of Stella addiction. Hey, Michelle, how are ya? I took a little bit of Wink of Stella and just added a little highlight to make my apples nice and shiny, because every teacher likes a shiny apple, right? This one does. Okay, that's all there is to it. Now on my sample on the inside, I added a little welcome back sentiment, which is also in the Harvest Hello stamp set, and then another little punched apple. Okay, and the one that I sent to school with my son today had a Tim Hortons gift card tucked in there because I know all too well how hard the first week is. Waking up and getting back into the swing of things is a little bit painful. All right, so we're gonna set this aside. So that's project number 2. And I have one more cute little Halloween project to share with you. This fun little treat box. So how many of you knew that we carried these cute little 2x2 clear boxes? Okay, we've been carrying them for a couple of years, and every time I demonstrate one of these, people go, where did we get them? Where'd you get that? I didn't know we carried those. So they come flat packed like this. Okay, thanks for sharing, Martine. And they have this protective coating on it. So you got to peel this off before you do anything. Okay, so just peel that off, and that creates leaves a beautiful, clean, crystal clear box. Okay, now it doesn't look like a box right now. I'm going to show you how to assemble these. Now, you need to know that you do not need adhesive to assemble these. Okay, a lot of people put these together and they try to glue the base, and don't do that. Trust me, okay? So what you're going to do first is just sort of pinch it and really crisp up those creases, okay? So now it's starting to look like a box. We're going to do the same thing on all of the tabs. So I'm just going to fold them in and back just to make them nice and crisp and pliable. We're going to do the same thing at the top. Okay, fold these and just kind of pinch those seams so that it's easy to put our box together. Okay, so now I'm going to start with this one that looks kind of like a U. Okay, that's the first one I'm going to fold in like that. Then I'm going to do the ones on either side. Okay, so I folded my U down. Then I'm going to bring these two in. And finally, I'm going to bring this last one in. And I'm going to push it in until that box locks into place. Do you see how I did that? And now that bottom is locked. It's solid. Okay, no adhesive required. So do not glue your bottoms of your boxes shut. Okay, so then you fold your top flaps in and you tuck your lip in there, and there's your cute little box. Okay, these will hold a surprising amount of candy. Trust me. I made these for an event and bought what I thought was enough candy, and lo and behold, I only had barely enough for half. So yeah, you're gonna need a lot of candy to fill these guys. Okay, so this little sleeve is just that. It's made to slide on and off. So, you know, when Halloween's over, collect these boxes back and use them for Christmas. And then when Christmas is over, make another one for Valentine's. Okay, so you can get a lot of mileage out of these little boxes. And these little sleeves, as long as you make them so they slide on and off, they are multi-purpose. You could even save the Halloween ones for next year. All right, so here I have a piece of basic black cardstock. It is cut to 8.5 by 2 inches. Okay, 8.5 by 2. And I am going to just wrap this around my box. I'm not worrying about scoring. I'm just going to take and wrap it around my box. Now, I'm not gluing it yet, okay, because I don't want this to glue to the box. I only want it to be a sleeve. So I'm just kind of wrapping it around and pinching it as it comes up across a fold, okay? And then I'm going to just glue this little bit that overlaps. Okay, so I have a little tab here. I could use Tombow, I could use whatever. I'm going to use glue dots just for now, just in the interest of time. And again, it really helps to make these around the box, okay? It helps you to get your folds nice and crisp and your sizing right. So when you're lining this up, you just want to make sure that the edges of your sleeve line up, okay? And then you're going to be able to slide that on and off. You see how that works? Okay? All right, now here, remember how we used some of the Brights DSP stock on the last project? Well, this is more of that same DSP pack, okay? This is the Gorgeous Grape, and you could use the gingham or the argyle. I decided to use the argyle on this one. And now the only problem with this is the paper is only 6 by 6 inches, right? So 6 inches will not go around a 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 box. Not quite enough. So here's what I did. This is a 2 by 6 inch, sorry, not 2. This is 1.5 by 6. So you can get 4 of these out of one sheet. Okay. And then this is a 1.5 by 2. 1.5 by 2, I think. No, 1.5 by 3. So 6, 1.5 by 6, 1.5 by 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is so here's my seam, right? This is going to be the front. This is going to get hidden by my pumpkin. So I'm going to lay this short strip across the front and just pinch it around the box, okay? And then we're going to add a little bit of glue. Actually, I'm going to use some Fast Fuse. Faster than Tombow. There's a reason they call it Fast Fuse. So this is going to get adhered to the front of my box right over that seam. And I'm going to wrap the ends around, just like that. Okay, then it's just a matter of lining up my longer strip. So I'm going to put a little bit of fast fuse along this edge. I'm going to adhere it to here and then wrap her around. Okay, and I'm actually going to trim that off just a touch because I don't want it to go around the corner. There we go. Okay, and then overlap that there as well. So we're going to add a little bit of fast fuse here and center that and just stick around. Okay, so there's my DSP band. And next we're going to use some more of that awesome trim. Can you tell I'm in love with this? This is like one of my all-time favorites, I think. I really hope this doesn't go away anytime soon. I love this stuff. Okay, so where was the front? Where's my seam? There it is. So again, I'm just taking, adding a glue dot to the end, and I'm going to wrap it all the way around my box twice. Okay, and then trim off the roll, and then we're going to add another glue dot to hold it in place. And again, this is going to get hidden with my pumpkin. Okay, so far so good. And don't worry about the crisscross. I kind of wanted it to look kind of crisscrossy weird. Okay, all right, now we need to stamp and color a pumpkin. So here, no, that's not it. That's the wrong bin. There's the right bin. This is from the last one. Here is my pumpkin stamp. And I'm going to stamp it in Cajun Craze ink this time because I wanted my pumpkin to look like, I didn't want to have black lines for my pumpkin. I wanted the black face to stand out. So I'm going to stamp in Cajun Craze. And the Cajun Craze does not run too badly when you color with the blends. So we're going to do it. We're going to stamp our pumpkin in the Cajun Craze. And then we are going to use our pumpkin pie markers, get this out of the way, to color. So do you remember how on the apple I only did half the apple at a time? Well, I'm going to do the same thing here with my pumpkin. Now, I am really hoping that my light pumpkin pie is going to last because it is getting very, very light. We'll see if it makes it, and my tip is pretty much done. I have another one on the way. It just didn't get here in time for today. So I'm laying down. I'm going to just do half my pumpkin here. So I'm doing two little quadrants or sections, I guess, with the light. And then I'm going to come in with my dark. And I'm going to add shadow along the bottom, along the edge, around the side rather, sort of across the top, and then just a little bit along the ribs there. And then again, I'm going to come in with my light, and hopefully, if my light holds up, I'm going to blend that out. We'll see how long it lasts. It is on its last legs. Now, somebody asked me the other day how long my blends last, like how often do you have to replace them? And that's a really tricky question for me to answer because I use my blends a lot. So not only do I use them when I'm designing projects, but they get used in classes as well, okay? So it's hard for me to answer for just sort of personal everyday use, how long they would last. But I will say that this set of pumpkin pie blends is my original set. So it is the one that I got when the blends first came out 2 years ago. Okay, so they've done pretty well given the amount of use that they get. Okay, they get a lot of use and abuse, which is why my tips tend to wear out quite quickly. Not everybody is gentle with the tips. I would love to actually have two sets, one for me and one for classes. Someday when I win a lottery, that's what I'll do. I'll buy myself a whole second set of blends just for me. But for now, I have to share, and they do wear out. But like I said, 2 years is pretty good, given the amount of use that my blends get. As long as you keep your markers stored horizontally, and make sure your caps are on nice and securely, there is no reason why they shouldn't last you for several years. Okay. All right. So I'm just finishing coloring in my pumpkin. I'm just sort of following the same procedure for each section here. I'm just laying down my light and shading with my dark. and then blending it out again with the light and trying to make my light stretch just to get enough to finish this little pumpkin guy here. I'm definitely going to have to get a new one because I have a lot of Halloween projects planned that I'm going to need my blends for. At least this color. Got lots of pumpkins to color. Okay, so there we go. Not bad. Not as well blended as I normally would do, but not bad for a marker that is on its last legs. Okay, so there is my pumpkin. I'm going to go ahead and punch that out. So we'll center our pumpkin in the punch and pop that out. Okay, now we also this time are going to stamp our stem in the pumpkin leaf. Now you'll notice that the leaf in this punch is the apple leaf, but we have a different shaped leaf for the pumpkin. So that is one that we're going to fussy cut. And I know for some of us fussy cut is a bad word, but really it's not so bad. So I'm going to stamp our little stem. Oh, and while I'm at it, I may as well stamp my little leaf as well. And we're going to punch out our, actually, you know what? Let's color our stem first. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Old Olive here to color my stem. So this is dark Old Olive. And I may as well color my leaf too. And I use the dark as well. I didn't worry about shading the leaf. It's just a pretty small little image. You certainly could if you wanted to. But again, just in the interest of time here, I'm not going to worry about shading the leaf. My tip on this one is dying too. Okay. All right, so we're going to punch out our stem. And again, you want to punch it or stamp it near an edge so it's easy to reach with your punch. Okay, there's my stem. And then my leaf I'm going to fussy cut. I'm not going to worry about getting the stem of the leaf. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out the leaf itself. And just a couple little tips about fussy cutting. When you're cutting, first of all, you want to have a really nice sharp pair of scissors. So our paper snips from Stampin' Up are awesome. They're super sharp. And secondly, when you're cutting, whenever possible, you want to move your paper rather than your scissors. Okay, and you will find that you get nice smooth edges when you're cutting. Okay. Now here's another little tip about fussy cutting. Where did I put my black marker? Where did I put my black marker? There it is. You see these little white edges where I wasn't quite precise with my scissors? I could go back and fix those, but here's a little tip. I'm going to take my basic black marker, just the brush tip, and I'm going to go around that fussy cut leaf with that black marker, and you're going to see all those little white edges magically disappear. And suddenly you are going to look like an expert fussy cutter. See that? Magic. Just magical. All right, let's get rid of these little bits. And we need to stamp a jack-o'-lantern face. Where's Jack's face? Where did I put him? There he is. We're going to stamp him in black. All right, on the front of our pumpkin. So I'm going to put it down just a little bit so I have room for my leaf and my bow. Okay. And now we can assemble the rest of Jack. So remember how I said when you're making your pumpkin that you want the narrow end of your stem to be up. So I'm going to add a glue dot to the back of my pumpkin. Your Stampin' Up markers are not working properly. Heather, that needs to be addressed with Stampin' Up. So you need to call Stampin' Up and let them know that, because that's not right. They should be working. Okay, if you've gotten Stampin' Up markers that do not write properly, you need to call Stampin' Up. Okay, call demonstrator support and they will fix it for you. Okay. All right, so I put my face up still a little bit too high, but that's okay. So I have adhered my stem to the back and the leaf to the front. And then we're going to do another little bow with our braided linen trim. So this one's going to be a smaller bow, so I'm not going to give myself as much length. And we're going to make just little loops because it's going to go right on the top of our pumpkin stem. So we'll trim the tails of this one a little bit shorter, and then we're gonna distress our ends just a little bit and adhere that to to the top of our pumpkin stem, just like that. Okay, so now he's ready. Excuse me, I'm getting croaky. He's ready to get glued onto the front of our box. So we're going to add a few dimensionals to the back of our little pumpkin here. And no, Heather, you need to call if you have a problem. If you are ever not satisfied with the Stampin' Up! Product, you need to call and they will address it. They will make it right. Okay, so even if it's just a few out of a color family, you need to make sure that you let them know that. Okay. All right, so there's my little pumpkin. Now I'm gonna add a little sentiment here. I just love this sentiment, this Hey There Pumpkin. I think it's so cute. Now I thought I had a little strip, but apparently I didn't. So we are gonna cut one. So I need a little 1/2 inch strip of Whisper White cardstock. So it's just a little scrap. And I'm gonna take my Hey There Pumpkin stamp and stamp it in black. Hi, Linda. How are you? Nice to see you. Okay, so wish me luck. I'm going to try and stamp this centered on this very narrow strip while looking at it from the side. Oh, that's not bad. It's not bad. I'll take it. And then I'm going to use my magical tailored tag punch to create my banner ends. So again, I'm going to slide my little strip in until I see my sentiment and then back it off a little bit and punch. I'm going to trim a little bit of the excess off here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. So we'll go right about there. And then this is going to layer just on the bottom of my little pumpkin. Now, this is going to go right along the bottom edge of my box. You don't want it to extend, right? You don't want it to be too low because then your box is not going to sit flat. So when you glue this on, you're going to want to just use some glue dots, okay? And we're going to glue it just to the bottom of our pumpkin there. So we're going to go 1 and 2. I'm almost out of glue dots. And we're just going to center that under our pumpkin. Just tuck it under his chin there, just like that. And there you go. Isn't that cute? Cute, cute, cute. Now to find some Halloween candy to fill it with. And then forget I have it, so it lasts till Halloween. What are the chances? Okay, let's clean up my mess here, and I'll bring in all 3 projects to show you. And don't go away, because I'm not done. I have to show you my new online class. But just give me a sec. Where did I put all my projects? I'm a little disorganized today, people. It's first day of school. Okay, here we go. There are 3 projects that we just made. Okay, thanks, Martine. I'm glad you like them. Now, if you like these, and you're on the fence about this bundle, let me show you my newest online class. Okay, I'm really excited about this because like I said, I love making little gifty, treaty kind of things, and this new online class is all about gifts and treats. So let me show you. So I have. Well, there's 6 projects in this class, and we have 2 coordinating card and gifty projects. Okay, so this is a little get well card, and this is a tissue holder. So if you know someone who's a little bit under the weather, maybe you even have a teacher who's under the weather, I guarantee you within 2 weeks I will be sick. That happens every year. So this is a little tissue holder and get well soon card. So those are part of the online class. And then we have, because Halloween is coming, a cute card. So you change out the sentiment and do a Hey There Pumpkin sentiment as well. I did this as give thanks, but it could be anything. So we have some little pumpkins and then a cute, here, let me take this out so you can see it. Cute little pocket back holder. So what is it? It's pumpkin spice pocket back. Okay. So here is a cute little pocket back holder, okay? You could just give it just sitting like that, or you can put it in a bag, whatever. But there's another coordinated little gift set. So that's 4 projects. So we have these, and we have these, and then we have 2 cards. So this is a fun patchwork card. So this is where we use paper piecing to make our patchwork pumpkins. So that is project number 5. And then project number 6 is this beautiful, it says give thanks. This could be a Thanksgiving card. If you are not someone who sends Thanksgiving cards, you can omit the give and just have it be a thank you card. But really beautiful and elegant, featuring lots of new product from the annual catalog. So these are the 6 projects that are in my latest online class. If you are interested in this class, how do you get it? Well, you simply place a $60 order in my online store using this host code. Okay, so the class is free. You will get all of the kits and materials to make these 6 projects. And as well, you will get a tutorial video with step-by-step instructions for making each project and a PDF cutting guide. So if you want to make more, let's say you wanted to make, I don't know, 20 of these for a whole teaching staff, you could absolutely do so. So all of that is included with this online class, which is free with a $60 order in my online store. So this class launches really tomorrow because you can't order this bundle until tomorrow. The catalog goes live at 5 a.m. Eastern time. So it's available from tomorrow until the 17th of September. Okay, so if you love this bundle and love to make cute little fun treat holders, this class is for you. Okay, all right, everybody, that's it for me today. Thanks so much for joining me for Tuesday Live at 5 on the first day of school 2019, and I will see you actually tomorrow night. I'm going to be live during prime time at 7:30 p.m. for my virtual holiday catalog launch. So you'll want to join me. I'll walk you through the catalog. I'll show you some of my favorite products and some great project ideas. Okay, thanks for joining me today and hope to see you back tomorrow night. Bye for now.